It's morphin time. Pterodactyl. I didn't even realize my mic was muted. Hi there, this is Dotcombat with 3 Years of Wrestling, meaning that it's wrestling time post-show. And for tonight, I will be reviewing Impact Wrestling. Alright, so tonight's Impact Wrestling was a fallout from No Surrender, and it kicked this off with the current Impact World Champion, the Wrestling God, Moose. Alright, so Moose came out and said that month after month, he's proven why he's the greatest champion in professional wrestling. He put down a titan, but yet all people are talking about are Eddie Edwards. So before I go any further, let's recap what he means by that. When he says he put down a titan, he defeated W. Morrissey at No Surrender. But yet the biggest talking point of No Surrender was Eddie Edwards turning on Team Impact. So he says that there's only one man in pro wrestling who needs to be acknowledged, and that's him. He says that without him, there would be no Eddie Edwards. And that whenever people step into the ring with him, people change. And he brings up Josh Alexander. He says Josh Alexander lost his mind and is no longer with Impact. Now, I have to say, this is the second time they mentioned Josh Alexander's name. So for a guy who supposedly had his visa expired and is no longer with Impact, they should keep name dropping him a lot. Now, just saying. And then he talked about Mid Cardona because he turned his back on the audience and stooped so low that he hit Jordynn Grace with the steel chair right to the face. And he says only the Lord knows about W. Morrissey's eventual spiral. Then guess who interrupts him? None other than Heath. He says that Eddie Edwards was beloved by all the people and that Impact is at war with Honor No More because they keep attacking people. Yeah, their champion, Moose, is over here making jokes. He said it's a work probably. Yeah, it's probably at work. The whole Josh Alexander thing's probably at work. Heath has said that he's been out with an injury for a whole year, but he's got kids. Dude got powerbombed on cell phones. Yeah, he did. He certainly did. I gotta talk about that. And Moose asked Heath that if he's so concerned, where was he when Honor No More attacked and when Eddie Edwards turned his back on Impact? Good show of Impact. Definitely was a good show tonight. And that Heath reminds Moose that his first match in Impact was against him. Moose says that he does not give a damn about Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, Honor No More, about Rhino, about anything. He also doesn't give a damn about Heath's family, wife, or his ugly bleep kids. And then Heath attacks Moose. And I can't say that Moose didn't have it coming. Moose had it coming. I mean, you don't talk about a man's family about that. Don't talk about their family. You don't. So Moose had that coming to him. And then Scott D'Amore. Okay, so before I go any further, this was a really long opening segment. And when I say long, I mean it was long. There was like 2 segments that followed this. Okay. So then after that, it cuts to the back where Scott D'Amore, and Team Impact basically wants Eddie Edwards' head on a stick here. They do. But Scott D'Amore says that he's going to keep his word. And he says that he tells Team Impact that tonight Eddie Edwards is off limits because he wants to hear his explanation. But Rhino can have him at Sacrifice. So that's one segment. But before I go any further, we are joined by Swerve Show. Hey.
What's up? They got me a little bit of time left in prison, but yeah, that was a good show, man. That was crazy. How do you feel about Moose telling your boy Heath Slater, now all of a sudden you think you're Mr. Impact?
That was a funny segment, I have to say, but you don't talk about a man's family and not get decked out like Moose did.
That was funny, though, because he has all those children and he's just like, all your kids are ugly.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And not to cut you off too short, but that a lot of people up in the jail cells were talking about that. um, what's her name? Going against Matt Cardona, Jordynn Grace. That I thought it was an awesome match. I thought it was believable. Um, Obviously, you could say that Matt Cardona could beat her up in real life, but I believe all the offense that Jordynn Grace got in was believable. Like they put her in a situation where it was like, okay, she low blowed him. Okay, she used a weapon. That's believable. How do you feel about those two going at it the intergender match?
Well, I wasn't there yet, but
Oh,
I'll
you
let
weren't
you
there
know.
yet? I could have sworn you
No,
were there yet. My bad.
no, it's okay. So after Scott Moore said that Eddie Edwards was off limits. Oh, my camera went out. Sorry about that. But so after Eddie Edwards said that, after Scott Moore said that Eddie Edwards was off limits, he basically said that Rhino can have him at Sacrifice, and then he has a segment with Honor No More, basically welcoming them to Impact. You know, he's keeping his word.
Mm-hmm.
And Moose shows up, says that he doesn't have an issue with Honor No More as long as they stay out of his way and don't go after the title.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool segment. I like the part where Moose was in the back and Honor No More was being led in one by Scott D'Amore. And who was the last guy that was with them? That's married to the girl?
Mike Bennett?
Mike Bennett. Since he's with ROH, but he had history with Impact Wrestling, he's the last person to see Moose, and he's like, "Hey, I remember you." So that was a cool
Yeah.
little throwback.
Yes, definitely. And so Scott D'Amore is upset about what Moose had said, that he didn't care about anything. And he believes that maybe Heath was right about him. So at Sacrifice is going to be Heath versus Moose. And Heath is probably going to be a dead man.
I hope not, man, because I like Heath Slater like you do. So hopefully he doesn't get killed too much.
So then after this, we had the Dotcombat match for the Digital Media Championship. It was Matt Cardona versus Jordynn Grace. I had to say, this was actually quite a fun match. I actually really enjoyed this match. I like that they used computer items. Like, I mean, they had a keyboard to the back. At one point, Jordynn Grace had a selfie stick on Cardona. And you know, usually when a wrestler grabs a giant bag from under the ring, it usually is thumbtacks. Not this time. It was cell phones. It was cell phones, which I thought was so hilarious.
Yeah, I liked it at times, and I thought it was corny. The selfie stick, though, did you see that part where she ripped open the selfie stick and it turned
Yeah.
into like a sword and it scared her?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, she rips the selfie stick apart and it breaks in half, so it looks like she has two sides, like Raphael from Ninja Turtles, and you literally see her get scared and say, "Oh, shit" on television because that wasn't supposed to happen, and she attacks him with it. So that was cool. Yeah.
Yes, this is a fun match. I really wanted to see someone get whacked with a tablet or get hit with a
Damn.
computer screen. I think that would have been fun, but that's just me.
The cell
But this
phones,
match,
though, the bag of cell phones replacing that was kind of cheesy because I don't think it would hurt. I like when they're cheesy and they pull out Lego pieces.
oh,
That's pretty cool. That hurts more than the thumbtacks, but the cell phone, I enjoyed it though. I'm not gonna be a hater on it, be like, oh, but it was cool. I like the match, like you said.
yeah, it was a fun match. But just to wrap things up, in terms of this match, what's gonna call it, Matt Cardona, Jordynn Grace went for a low blow, and Matt Cardona had a cup that said "always ready," and
Bedazzled too.
what's gonna call it. She gave him the mandible claw with that cup to his face, which I was like, oh my god.
Ew.
But in the end, Matt Cardona ended up being victorious because he basically used the ropes as leverage to pin Jordynn Grace.
A lot of people were saying
Saying he'll watch Impact at some point. He's missing out.
I watch it here in the jail cell because it's on every channel. It's free. You don't need cable, so we got it up in here. But a lot of people though were saying that he's the NWA World Champion, and it's borderline sexist though. But like, if I was Billy Corgan in NWA, I'd take the title off of him ASAP for him going in a long match with Jordynn Grace and stupid stipulations. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't really follow the NWA, but I
Yeah,
don't think, you know.
he's doing he's doing what he can. I could sort of see it, but then again, it's just like whatever. Like you know,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So then afterwards we had the inspiration segment, which basically this match is saying that they can't wait for to defend their tag titles at Sacrifice. It feels like they've been doing this for like forever
yep,
because they've been, I don't know, I guess the first time around somebody got injured. Oh no, the inspiration couldn't compete because they came down, with stuff.
yeah.
So this match has been stalling. This match should have happened at for the longest, but it hasn't happened. But the gist of this is that next week we're gonna have Cassie Lee versus Madison Rain. So someone's gonna have momentum going into
This is like
Sacrifice.
Naomi, man, and on SmackDown, the never-ending storyline.
But I actually like the inspiration, so I tolerate it.
Mm-hmm.
So then we had Jake something who said he was disappointed because nobody wants to lose a match. So just to recap, if anybody did not watch before the impact, it was Jake something and Trey Miguel teaming up to face Ace Austin and Speedball Mike Bailey in a tag match, which Trey Miguel and Jake something lost. Hence why
Wait,
he's saying that someone
his
is
name is Speedball.
Speedball Mike Bailey.
Oh my god! Do you know what Speedball is?
Yes, I do.
What? How did I get away with a name like that on television?
I
Oh my
don't know.
gosh!
Okay, so Trey Miguel interrupts him, and Jake says that he doesn't want Trey Miguel's pity. He wants Trey Miguel to fear him, and he doesn't like to be interrupted because he said he wasn't finished. So Trey Miguel makes a point to say that they look good as a team, and that Jake something shouldn't feel bad because it's not a big deal because they weren't challenging for the tag titles. So if you ask me, I'm actually excited for Jake something versus Trey Miguel. I'm glad Jake something's finally doing something in Impact. He had went MIA for the longest time, and he recently just came back onto the screen. So I'm really happy for him. Do I think he'll beat Jake something? I mean, do I think he'll beat Trey Miguel? Probably not, but at least he's doing something. So then we
Sublick Roadie 400. Whoa, what are you watching?
what? No.
Steve from the
Okay.
chat room.
Uh so then we had John Skyler versus Bhupinder Gujjar, and Brian Mayers was on commentary. He had his own announce table, by the way. So this was basically a rematch from Bhupinder's debut, which happened on February 3rd, 2022. And the way he won that match was the same way he won this match. So basically, Gujjar wins this match with the spear from the corner of the ring to John Skyler. So I thought Bhupinder was impressive on his debut, and he's still impressive. He's actually pretty good. So then afterwards, Zoe Morrissey comes out and he goes after Mayers. And Skyler stops him from choke slamming Brian Mayers. And instead, John Skyler is the one who gets a BQE through the announce table that Brian Mayers was at. Then after this, we get a Steve Macklin promo who says that everybody wants to know what Eddie Edwards has to say. He doesn't give a damn what Eddie Edwards has to say. He says that Eddie Edwards laid out this narrative saying that Steve Macklin was a traitor, and that was a lie. When in reality, it ended up being him. He's the one who turned his back on the company and on his brothers. He doesn't care because next week he's going to answer to him. And I'm honestly pretty excited for this. And Steve Macklin is right. Eddie Edwards did not want Steve Macklin on Team Impact because he was saying, could they really trust him? I mean, he accused Steve Macklin of laying out Jonathan Gresham. So I'm excited for that. Then after this, we had the Champ Challenge, which is Deonna Purrazzo's open challenge for either her Reina de Reinas title or for her ROH Women's title. So Lady Frost answered the challenge, and it was for the Reina de Reinas title, which is the first time she's defending the Reina de Reinas title because normally people pick the Ring of Honor title. I think this is her fourth challenge. And yeah, the previous ones have been for the Ring of Honor Women's title. This was a fantastic match, honestly. It really was. I love that Deonna did that cartwheel over Lady Frost. I like that Lady Frost, I think she did a backflip to the ring apron and she did the cartwheel, but ultimately it was not enough. Deonna put her in the Venus de Milo and ended up retaining her title. And then guess who comes out? Giselle Shaw, who made her debut, her in-ring debut last week. She walked by, she stared at Deonna and continued walking towards the ring. And as poor Lady Frost was chilling in the corner, she had her shades on. I was putting my glasses on to demonstrate. She went like that to Lady Frost. And then she was standing in the middle of the ring with all the spotlight on her. So you know her business with Lady Frost is not over. Then we had the Bullet Club segment. So if you guys recall, Jay White did turn his back on God. So this segment explains why he didn't. He says it was nothing personal. It was strictly business. He says that God no longer measures up to the heights that he wants to take Bullet Club. So he said that he basically was saying that the Gorillas of Destiny were dead weight and it was time to get rid of them. Carl Anderson says, "Is it really Bullet Club without the Good Brothers?" And Doc Ellis says, "The real OGs are Bullet Club for life." And then Jay White says that he sees Bullet Club with Good Brothers and Chris Bay. So then Violent by Design shows up and says that they're owed a shot and that but they're reminded that there's a new business arrangement. So if you guys recall, the Good Brothers used Violent by Design to take care of Rhino and to take care of the God, and that they were promised an opportunity, but they weren't given that opportunity. Jay White says that the Good Brothers are under new management and that their old agreement is void. And then God attacks them and all hell breaks loose. And then at the end, God and Violent by Design kind of stare at each other. And Eric Young says, "All right." And then we get Jonah versus Ziggy Dice, which is basically squash match, people. Was a squash match. There's nothing more. I don't need to talk about this. This is a squash match. I mean, poor Ziggy Dice got squashed like a pancake. And then at the end, he has a tsunami, even though the match is over. So Gail Kim goes, when Jonah goes to the back, Gail Kim tells him he doesn't want any post-match assaults on his opponents anymore. And Jonah tells her he doesn't want appetizers. He wants a real fight. So Gail Kim gives him a match against PCO at Sacrifice. Then Johnny Swinger comes by and says he's been training hard at the Swinger Dungeon for a rematch against Jonah. I don't know what's going on with Johnny Swinger. I like Johnny Swinger, but he needs an advocate. He's gonna get squashed. And then we get a Mickie James segment, who basically is trying to advocate for Chelsea for a match against Chelsea Green for the Knockouts title, because according to her, Chelsea's had her back and she thinks Chelsea Green deserves an opportunity. Tasha Steelz barges in and asks what Chelsea Green has done to earn an opportunity, and Gail Kim reminds her that when Tasha Steelz got involved in their match, she technically won by DQ. Tasha Steelz accuses Mickie James of using Chelsea Green to win every single time. And Mickie James fires back and says that's what Tasha Steelz has done. And so next week, we're going to get Tasha Steelz versus Chelsea Green for the number one contender at Sacrifice. And then we have Honor No More in the form of Kenny King, Mike Bennett, and Matt Tavern versus Rich Swann, Willie Mack, and Chris Sabin. This match, all craziness broke loose first. Willie Mack got dumped outside. And then there was a 3-on-1 assault on Kenny King, and they worked beautifully together to take him out. But ultimately, in the end, it was Honor No More who emerged victorious after Mike Bennett and Matt Tavern hit the Proton Pack to Willie Mack. All right, and so then Maria introduced Eddie Edwards as a Triple Crown winner in Ring of Honor and an Impact, and she says that he's the man who opened the door for Honor No More. And then basically Eddie Edwards starts telling why he betrayed Team Impact, and it makes sense. So, let's start. He says that we feel betrayed. He sees it in our eyes. And he says we are wrong to blame him, but we have every right to feel that way. He says he's known Honor no more for a very long time, and that he came up in the business with some of them. And he says that just like them, he felt betrayed when Ring of Honor announced they were taking a hiatus. All the blood, sweat, and tears they poured into the company meant nothing. But he says it's not just about one time, one place, one company. It's about Honor No More identifying the dishonor in the company, and he wants to expose the dishonor and corruption in Impact Wrestling. He said that 2 years ago, the world changed, and Impact Wrestling was forced to change with it, meaning that Impact would allow wrestlers from other companies to compete at Impact Wrestling, that they opened the doors that have been closed for a very, very long time. He said week after week, they didn't know who would show up, but he was up for it because he believed in what Impact was doing, and he had faith in that Impact was doing what was best for the company. And he kept that same faith when Impact allowed Omega to challenge for the world title. He said Rich Swann failed to do his job, and he allowed the title to fall into the hands of a man who wasn't even a part of the company. If you guys recall, last year at Rebellion, Kenny Omega defeated Rich Swann to become the Impact World Champion. And he said it was up to the locker room to fix what management screwed up, and they all have faith they would get it done. And he waited patiently for his shot. He said he waited patiently like a good employee as both Moose, Sammy failed to bring the title home, and he was waiting for his shot against Omega. So he technically did beat Omega. Well, his team beat Omega. He didn't actually pin Omega. So he pinned Carl Anderson. Okay, so it was Frankie Kazarian who was portraying the Elite Hunter, and Sami Callihan against Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, which happened on the August 5th, 2021 episode of Impact. And Kenny and Eddie Edwards actually won that match for his team when he hit the Boston Knee Party to Carl Anderson. Then again at Under Siege, he teamed with Finn Juice to face Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. And he pinned Carl Anderson by the same way with the Boston Knee Party. And that happened on May 15th. So you see where I'm going with this. He said, but what really upset him was the fact that Impact chose Josh Alexander instead of him to restore honor to Impact. So before I go any further, you can see why he was upset, and now his betrayal makes sense. He was upset that Moose got a shot and lost. Rich Swann got a shot and lost. Sami Callihan got a shot and lost. And then he was overlooked. And Josh Alexander was the guy who was chosen to take the title off Christian, when Eddie Edwards was the one who led his team to victory over Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. So he makes a valid points here. So maybe Eddie Edwards isn't the bad guy here. All right. So then he said it was at that moment that he realized Impact had Honor No More, but had no choice but to listen to everything that Honor No More was preaching. He said he was the heart of Impact Wrestling. He did not turn his back on the company. The company turned their backs on him. He gave everything to Impact and got nothing out of it. And then his wife, Alicia, comes out and asks what he was doing. He said that they talked about this privately, but since he brought it up publicly, now they have to address it. She says he can't believe he's not in the ring apologizing for his action. And that she says that he told her to keep faith and believe anything is possible. And that Sammy, Josh Alexander, Moose deserved their opportunities. And Josh did the job for Impact, and he brought the title home. And that he needs to stop complaining and celebrate with their real family. And that she asked him, what does that make her? Is she still family? Did he turn his back on her? And Eddie Edwards says he didn't turn his back on anybody. He's just simply walking away from those that turn their backs on him, and he leaves. And that's how Impact closes. Wow. So great explanation by Eddie Edwards in his betrayal of Impact, because it makes sense. This didn't just come out of the left field. It didn't. And when you think about it, he was overlooked. He really was. Josh Alexander was the guy who defeated Christian Cage and brought the title back home to Impact. When Eddie Edwards was the one, like I said earlier, was the one who led his team to victory against Omega. Should Eddie Edwards have gotten a shot? Yeah, he should have. And now I'm curious to see what Scott D'Amore's response to this will be. But this was a great episode of Impact. You people have to stop sleeping on Impact Wrestling. Please give Impact a chance. Like, you will not be disappointed. You honestly will not be. Well, with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching and for your continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys tomorrow after AEW Rampage. Peace out.